worries. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and I pray, Father, you guide us through this workshop, that you fill us with the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding that we need. Help us to do the work of the people. Lead, guide, and direct us. Forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Do you have anybody sign up for comments this morning?
No.
There are no further comments. Our first item is discussion of the 2026 working budget.
All right, Mr.
Kelly.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
I want, with y'all's permission, I'd like to skip the illustration of the police department. Chief Officer has an appointment at 3:15, he has to be at in Houston. And so I'd like to skip the police department section of the budget. And I believe it is page 20. Almost there. There's no changes in his budget. This budget still has their step program that they use for their raises for their employees in it. And so if there's any questions for Chief Foster, I'd like to, mind, go ahead and let's discuss that or anything we need to do, when he can get to his appointment. Sound like you good, Gary? So far.
Huh?
I said, sound like you good so far.
Okay. I gave it a second and then look it over.
Yeah. There's nothing changed from the last time in June on this budget. There's very little changes to this whole budget. I'll hit the 4 or 5 little highlights. That's what did change.
Very good.
Yeah, anytime you're ready, I know you're gonna get there.
Thank y'all.
This budget, we just prepared it, is based on a .285 tax increase and a $2 increase on the sanitation fees. And that's the same as we all said was gonna be in the 2.8 range, and we talked to y'all back in June, so it's at 2.285. There's been one increase on workers' compensation. It went up $2,068. We just got those numbers days ago. Last week, that's the .285. How we come up on property tax on that was, we met with the county tax assessor collector. He gave us our ranges. Our ranges went all the way up to .42. And before it had to be voted on by the citizens. This budget was prepared with what we need, and we can do this general fund budget and everything by the .285. He's also advised us, what we lost in the past few years about our being over. $800,000, because we went back down to that .22 and some other things on that, so, we would like to stick with that .285. As far as sales tax, we gave y'all $3,800,000, we was able to increase that by $25,000. We felt like it was time to go carry it up to $25,000 on the sales tax side. Without taking a chance of it coming in lower for next year. Under on the legislation side of the budget, which is on page 63. We had a $81,000 increase on our property and liability insurance. We just got the numbers a couple weeks ago on it also. That's one reason for having this meeting, because some things we don't get to right here at the end of July, or end of July 1st. And so that was going to increase on our property and liability insurance. since last time we met. We also, on page 8, we got the numbers from the committee, there's a letter on the next page behind it, from the chamber, and right down, the letter behind that, what the committee come up with, when the first thing we looked at.
May I be recognized?
This is a workshop. Any questions you want?
Well, it said special call meeting, so I wasn't sure. I have some questions about this. On the letter that's behind, right here, it lists out the Jasper Ford Committee and who the members are, and it lists Bob Mahar, Jasper City Council. Is this not a conflict for Mr. Mahar to be on the Jasper Ford Committee and also be a city council member who makes the decisions about this?
Well, that's a good, question for our attorney. This committee, the city, when they set this up in the chamber picked the committee members. And they pick them every year, who they use, so,
I believe this is an absolute conflict, because if, as a city council, we decide where this money goes. That's my understanding, right? The last time we had a meeting, you guys told me that the city council approves this money for the hotel occupancy taxes. So a city council member should not also be on the Jasper Forward Board that is receiving these applications. I would like to raise that's an absolute conflict, in my opinion.
we have nothing to do with that. We'll have to get an opinion from our attorney on that, get it to the chamber, and then help council for it.
And I also have some questions about page 8, where the money is decided to go, where they've decided to allocate the money. I asked for records from the Chamber of Commerce, and they refused even me as a council member, because citizens were asking how the money was distributed, how they were choosing who they give the money to, how much, questions. So I feel like I had a legitimate concern to request records. And Beverly Hawley, who is the chamber director, said no. She's not gonna give me any records, and she doesn't think she has to, because it's a Chamber of Commerce. And I think as a council, we need to really question if we wanna give $49,992, or the proposed budget of $61,500 to the Chamber of Commerce with no availability to see where this money is going. I believe the people of Jasper need to know where the money's going and how the decisions are being made. So I think as a council, we really need to discuss whether we want to continue to do this, to allocate money to an entity that doesn't believe that they answer to the council. And I would also like to question a couple of the items that's on page 8. On the American Junior Golf Association, I see here that it's requested, let's see the projected balance, and then it has the proposed budget of $18,500. And from what I understand, this is like a one-time event, right? And a couple of the other organizations, they do things all year long. They have events. The Lone Star Youth Council, actually, I attended an event there yesterday. They do things all year long. And also the East Texas Art League, they do things all year long. And so I would question giving that amount of money to a one-time event instead of giving money to both of those organizations or another organization that did something all year long, that were having events all year long.
They says the rules of the hotel tax about how many rooms it takes the hotels, and that's how it's based off of. So there's ones, like the golf tournament, I believe it brought 300 heads people to the hotels, and some of these others do not.
But the council decides, right? We have to approve the money
We have to
that's
approve
been.
this in our
Yes,
budget,
yes. I think we need to talk about that, about the organizations that are receiving this money, especially before the budget is approved, to be sure that the money is being distributed fairly and that there's oversight. I mean, because, like I said, I spoke with Beverly Hawley. She told me it was only a fourth of the chamber's income, and she outright refused to give me any information whatsoever on the money that we give to the chamber, and that's not okay, in my opinion.
We got it.
Well, I asked for it.
But I had a conversation with her on the phone. We had a public information safeguard, and so the money, the tax dollars that goes to the chamber, we have to have the records on it, and it's produced 2 days later. We made the public information session.
So just those couple of points, I wanted to make sure that the record shows that I've questioned whether a Jasper Board committee member who is deciding on this money can also be a council member. That seems like a serious conflict. And as well, on those particular things, we need to talk about that as a council. And if going forward, we wanna continue to give this amount of money to a Chamber of Commerce that does not want oversight from the city council. If we approve it, we should have oversight.
I'm not sure that a council person on another board would be so much conflict of interest, because they're getting information from their board, bring back to council. Am I looking at that right?
I believe that you are, Mayor, because he is actually deciding who gets this money. And then he's coming as a council member to vote to give this money. So I do believe that's conflict.
All of that is recorded.
I'm not saying it's not. I believe it's a conflict. And good governance does not even have the appearance of impropriety. And we answer to our citizens, and I believe that anything we do here should be above board. I'm raising the issue of conflict of interest.
Okay. Sure.
Who decides, who makes the decision how much money to give? These
If you
organizations?
start the page,
Yes.
the next page has a letter from the chamber, and the page after that has a breakdown of what they presented us, of how much.
Page 10,
So the chamber of commerce decides.
9,
No.
10.
No, there's a
No.
committee.
There's a committee.
There's a committee on the chamber of commerce.
No,
Isn't
it's a freestanding committee.
It's page 9. Do you see page
it?
9?
Yeah.
That's anyway,
This is the committee, right?
This is the people that they've listed as the committee, yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay.
Tammy Wagstaff heads that committee, she's the holiday one, so they got records from all the hotels, they base it on how many people are actually staying in the hotels for each one of these companies.
And that is a breakdown of how much each one gets, correct?
But the next page has the same
Okay.
thing, in the budget, we just transferred the numbers over into that. It shows how much they asked for and how much they got.
And just to be clear, just so I understand, the final authority of whether to give these funds or not from the hot funds is with the city council, correct? We're responsible for that?
Well, if you look at what was requested and what the amount was funded, pretty good bit of difference on most of it. It's pretty fair and equitable.
They base it off, they actually base it off of how many hotel rooms is actually sold out there.
It's based on historic.
Now, like the museum and places like that, you can spend, what, 15% of your money on those type items, the total amount of money you take in. And only 9,500 was spent on those things. So there's some money left in that we possibly could use on the Betty Workhouse if the council can get that report back to them.
I would absolutely.
So that's just money left for that. So hopefully we get that report back, maybe we can do something else. That keeps us on the rules, 15% on, what is it, historical preservation?
There's money held by the committee and without being committed for possible future use. So that's what it's there for.
Someone, would you, one question? Okay, we'll go on. Another change, there was, on page 15, library budget. We added, $5,800 under the computer bills. They, the computer lab in there is gonna be upgraded and some stuff done with our IT people, we did that. So there's some change in that budget. Next page, page 6.
Library. The computer lab is extremely important. There are companies that require you to apply for jobs online. And a lot of our lower income people do not have the capacity to go online. So the library is our go-to place to get employed. So they definitely need this equipment.
They also, if y'all haven't seen it, they have what's his name, the pod, you go in there,
It's just proof.
yes, they go in there, it closes it, it's soundproof. So you can do a job interview right there online, different really helpful for a lot of people.
It's not just a, go check out a book, it's build a life.
Page 16, if there's no more questions on that, it's on the grant we got for this rebuilding the Temple Drive High Bridge, hanging out there on 96. There's a $102,000 match. You'll see on the very bottom line of GLO. That's coming through, the process has started, so we have to put that in the budget since our June meeting. But that's it's about a $900,000 big project up there for our match of $102,000. Page 19. Parks Department, since June, there's been, the bird park, its fence is in bad shape. And we got prices on replacing that, we added $8,000 in to replace the fence over on the playground and all that. It's been vandalized several times and we fixed it, but it's starting to have more problems, so we're gonna put a new fence up there. That increase for us. And all the rest of these departments, y'all have a question for, anytime you wanna ask a question about, but they hadn't changed since the June meeting, the budget book y'all got before. Police and fire, municipal court, all those are still the same, animal shelter still the same.
Let me ask something about the
okay.
park. Jamesburg Park improvements, that was done this year at $8,000?
That's gonna be done next year if the budget's approved.
I'm just asking, okay, because I was like, let me see what they've done different.
No,
Okay.
it's the fence, you can see the fence we drive by, it's got some of those bars missing and it's got a gap in it, one section was damaged bad enough that we had to take it down. So that's to replace that fence, if the budget's approved.
Can I ask this, do we put it in the budget? I have to go to a committee, so we can have more things at the park?
Playground?
Playgrounds?
If you
Because
want-
our kids, there's all kids, there's all minority, there's the black, the white, Hispanic, they all have parties up there. And the kids it's limited to what they can play on.
We put a new part of the playground up there,
Mhm.
and we did the new soft rubber cushion underneath the
Yes,
playground.
I've been there.
And we put, let's see, this year, we put new basketball goals and back bowlers up there. So we've made some improvements, but if you got some suggestions, we're more than willing to take them, and look at them. So, yeah, but when we did the other playgrounds with that soft cushion, we did all of our playgrounds at one time with that soft cushion.
We got a flag from the, state representative, Ms. Rita Rawls got us a flag, from Sheila Jackson Lee. And we asked last year for a flag pole, it's never gotten put up.
I never knew a request. of a
Okay,
flag
there
pole.
was a request last year, if they would just put the flag pole up, we have a flag from Sheila Jackson Lee. Okay.
We'll look at that too. Let's see, page 17. Which is sanitation department. Get the prices on the truck, same truck we talked to y'all back in June about, side loader. It went up $26,730 to a total of $372,000. We just want to update the price, we got to update the price in that budget bill. It should be at the bottom, there, under capital. Capital equipment.
And that number will be good through our approval for the whole budget.
And, if it's was to change anyway, go down or up, we will bring it back to you on the general.
Very good.
On the light and power budget, which starts on page 26, I believe, somewhere 25, 26. We, we told y'all about last month, at council meeting, we told about the power rate. There's a megawatts per hour as a pass through, 35 to 38, which is increasing firefighter budget by $506,000. That's a pathway that comes from the SRMTA. And by putting the synergy study, rate study, by not raising electrical rates last year, to raise them to the 25, 26 year, it still leaves the electric department almost $400,000 short. We talked about that last year in the synergy meetings. And so this budget does have a fire increase up to that 26 rate, and we're still gonna need approval from y'all when we pass the budget for the $400,000 to keep the electric department where it's at. Any questions on the electric department and that part of it? The water and sewer fund, everything stayed the same as that, except on page 40, very last page in the book, we have a gentleman that is retiring next July. And he takes care of our generators, works on all our controls. He's a journeyman electrician, and we're gonna put enough money in there to hire somebody sometime around November, December, so they can spend 5 or 6 months with him before he retires, to learn the controls and all of our generators. We have 30-some odd generators in the city. All the controls on all of our stuff, so it's gonna take some time, so we had to increase that salary on that one particular for that reason, because he went ahead and told us he's planning on retiring next July.
That'd be like a master electrician.
We'll put in for a master electrician. If we don't get one, then we get a journeyman, because most of our stuff out in the field don't have to pull a permit for, because it is generators and stuff like that we're working on. When we do have to pull a permit, we have to get a master electrician to come do the work for us. Like I said, when I started, this budget does have a 3% increase for employees in it. The PD is separate. Because they do that step program, they like to stay on to keep everything. When they hire somebody, they know where it's going and how it's going. Is there any more questions about the changes? Because that's the only changes in the whole budget. We want to get this to y'all. Y'all have a full month almost to look at it before we approve it in September. We do have to, we'll get to that in a minute, when we talk about the proposed tax rate, and y'all voting on that. Reason we do that, just y'all be voting just for a proposed tax rate, because we have to put that online, and we have to put it in the newspaper and run it, because we gotta have a public hearing on this, and a public hearing on the rate increase. So all that's gotta go out and get people to know if they wanna come talk at the public hearing tonight. And that's the reason for the items for discussion and actions here in a few minutes. We're still on the workshop, so any questions for me and Robbie, we'd be more than glad to try to answer them.
I'm good.
Where does code enforcement stand in here? What page is that?
It is on the election, under electric fund. It is on page 30. That's inspections, code enforcement. They do all our electrical inspections and all that stuff.
Well, I had the privilege the other day to ride around with Derek most of the day. And I don't know how much money they've got in there, but it's not enough.
They take care of a lot.
Oh my gosh, and the knowledge that those guys have got and what they go through, they can go through and mow one of these vacant lots or houses or whatever, and in 3 or 4 days, you can't even tell it. There is no way that they can keep up with what they've got to do. And I mean, we're working with a new firm now to get all this stuff off the tax roll and everything, but I would encourage everybody that can to ride around and see what some of these places in Jasper look like. I mean, it is, and in some really nice, neat places, that a house has just been abandoned and it's in shambles. There's no way that anybody could go back in there and redo that house. A lot of trailer houses stuck out behind the house that's being used for storage. And no electricity, no water, no doors, no windows, and it's in terrible, terrible shape. And I would encourage anybody that can get a day with Derek to ride around and look, I would encourage you to do it. But, I mean, I don't know if they even asked for more money or not, but it is something that is vital to the city to get all this stuff done. But that's just a comment from me.
I have one more question. On page 5, on the legislative department, under legal services, and we have a 2025 approved, but it's 28,000, and ending balances for 2024 is 94,003. These legal services are,
This was the legal service for Billy, our new attorney. This was also for Frank Garza. This was for get the gentleman's name that was hired the first time. This is for all legal service that was spent to the city.
and the proposed is $90,000 is what you're proposing? And for our city attorney position, that's a part-time position?
Yes, ma'am. It's based on how many times the council and people contact the attorneys to get information. Each time you contact them, it goes on the bill.
Yeah, cause that is a huge increase.
Yes, ma'am.
That is a huge increase.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
I think most of that increase is more reflective of our past city attorney, who did not, he only charged about a third of his time, if that much.
He never went over his, base a lot.
His basic.
Yes, and I understand that. I just thought that it was a part-time position. This is not a full-time position as city attorney.
Well, we have to put enough in there to cover in case y'all wanna talk to Mr. Garza or anybody else about anything, so we have to cover all that.
Yeah, cause that's a huge increase from before.
It's only part-time hours too, by the way. Just saying, it's not anywhere close to 40 hours a week. It's not anywhere close to 20. I don't even think it's close to 20 hours a week. So, it's not a full-time job.
Feels like a full-time.
It absolutely feels like a full-time job. And I will say that everything's documented, everything's very neat. It'll match all the phone records that all y'all have. And I also didn't negotiate my prices any either. The contract that the previous attorney had, the hourly rate is about half of what I charge, or less than half of what I charge to a private client. So I didn't negotiate my prices. I just picked up on what the old attorney did, and the city needed help, so I stepped up.
When we get the bill in, it is itemized who he talks to and everything. We go through the book, sure, look at it, check it. Matter of fact, we got one in just.
My question was just, it's a huge increase.
On travel, the federal reimbursement rate on travel keeps going up. And are we properly funded for travel? Has it been considered in the budget?
I don't think anyone's even matched what the budget has been for a few years now, right?
No, we had one that used it all up.
Well, out of 6, that's not bad.
That's not bad. That gets you off the park, right, and everything.
I was quite impressed with the training that I attended. I think it's very valuable.
More questions, please? Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you. That's it.
You got 3, 4,
Sorry.
you got the number 4.
No, we need to do number 2, we actually
Oh,
need to vote on
okay.
that, and that's just.
Discuss and consider approval of one proposing 2025 property tax rate of 285 from portion of the 25-26 budget.
This is just a proposal where we can put it out online and get in the newspaper. When we get down here to number 5, we'll set the date.
My only discussion is that I really needed to receive this information before today. I feel all of us needed to receive this information before today. I understand it's basically the same thing, but I didn't receive anything. This is the first time that I'm seeing it. I just need more time than us sitting here looking at it. I need time to be able to go through it. So that's my discussion. I can't vote on it. I haven't had time to look through this. So if you're calling for a vote, my vote's no.
We all approved, show of hands. All opposed? Vote will be approved. Three. Discuss, consider for approval, authorization, the time and date for public hearing for property tax rates.
I guess I need to do that first, because, we're looking at the, September the 2nd, at 5:30. That's the Tuesday after Labor Day. We have to get all this approved before the 15 days of the end of the calendar year. The new rules start September 1st. On posting meetings has to be 3 full business days. Weekends don't count, hours don't count. And so if our regular meeting on the following Monday that week, if something happened and we didn't have a quorum then, we wouldn't have time to get that meeting in. Posting it early. So we're asking on number 5 to actually, we should have had it first, if I'm not mistaken, to have one of our council meetings on September the 2nd. We'll get to that.
That'd give you enough time.
That would give us enough time if something, we didn't have a quorum or something happened, we still have time to be able to get everything done and meet all the legal rules we have to do.
I'm not glad.
How far back can you put it?
Well,
Third, fourth. Contribution on the fourth, so the third, I can do the third, not just the fourth.
third, we can wait till third, whenever we need to there, if it's Wednesday night, I don't know if that'd be, we need to get it in, then we should need to get it in.
Maybe we should back up into August.
We'll have time to run it to paper and have it done by then.
What's, how many days notice?
Two weeks. We have to have it done 15 days before the 22nd. So that puts it back to the 15th. Yeah, probably takes it.
15 days, you said?
She's gonna go for the things that should proper. I guess I can, we might be able to. Just wondering, Mr. Cross, are y'all able to agree those dates?
The third is fine. If, believe me, they both said they could be there the third, so it's fine with me. At 5:30.
5:30. And then, that'll be one period, and then the next hearing will be right after that. We can start the meeting.
approve changes to the working budget. Any?
We'll just put that in there for y'all, if y'all see anything there that y'all might want to change. That's good.
I haven't had time to look at it, so I can't.
We didn't want to leave nothing out, somebody wanted to make a change right now, I can check it out.
If there's any changes, if anybody has comments, and then we can bring it up at the next meeting.
So we'll be on the whole month of August.
Motion on anything there? Yep. Do that on five. Got a motion to adjourn?
Number 5, we need to go ahead and make a motion to move the council to the third, also the regular schedule council.
I'll make a motion.
Discussion. All approved? Any opposed? Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All approved?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned?
So it's-